doesn't exist. BlizzCon.
Well, that's a big one too. It's already in the bag. Dignitas is going to win it. Let's be real. We can give them the trophy now. And then we go to BlizzCon, which is a big one here. Let's go to game number 4 here. The battleground is ready to be chosen.
It is Dragonshire. Not by the team that you wanted, though.
Yeah, we're close enough. I'm okay with that. Dragonshire we go. Volskaya hasn't picked up. Ooh. Now this is a map where we can have that Cassia come out we were talking about earlier. Chromia as well, another strong pickup. We've actually gone a lot of Chromie battlegrounds here today. But again, the top lane. Dahaka can suddenly come in the rotation, especially on Dragonshire. It seems to be one of the few places that in Sky Timble they still gets picked.
Yeah, and I mean, this is still the best battleground for Dignitas, so they're 6-0 here. Their rotations, of course, becoming even more important, and they are the team that excels with those the most. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting game for sure. And you said you like it for leftovers, and I mean, I can see why. But for Dignitas, this has been an absolutely fantastic battleground, and it's going to be rough for leftovers, I think, to keep up here.
I think I like this battleground because that was the first time that we finally started getting more Lobber ETC, which has been a while since we've had that from him. The map kind of caters to that. Being able to force a fight and get a kill quickly, which ETC excels at, getting the power slide into a knockback and then taking a target out. But then again, I think we're getting to a point where we have to consider ETC as ground beef. He might not be someone that gets picked up too often. He falls a little bit too hard in this meta.
Yeah, the front line is really tanky at this point, and he usually can't sustain himself too much there, unless you put another really hit point heavy tank to his side on as the offlaner, I suppose, then you can pull him off. But in general, the priority are definitely shifting more towards Garrosh and other heroes as we've seen.
Yeah, it seems like if
even
you're gonna,
Johanna.
Yeah, even Johanna. If you're gonna pick up ETC, you want to make sure that you possibly have Blaze, as you were mentioning, having that rotation available, so you can send him to the top lane, and then maybe go for more of a stage dive type of approach. With that Echo Pedal, he's usually able to take up that top lane post 7, so you can definitely change him out. Now, as we gear up for Dragonshire, making sure our teams are ready to go, is there any other heroes that might pop up? Sonya's still very popular here. The night camps, control is always important.
I mean, globals are going to be really important here, I feel. The question is always, are we going to see maybe a little bit of false set play? He has very much fallen off, but we've seen the Eastern teams prioritize him quite highly.
They love him.
I don't really think that in Europe that's going to happen anytime soon, especially since the focus is more on very mobile heroes that then can catch him out on the solo lane. But it's always one of the heroes that you have to at least think about, because the global that he provides still can give you a pretty solid advantage if you're playing on a map where you highly depend on it.
Well, here we go. In the Dragonshire. Leftovers today, bans have been Malthael, Genji, Garrosh as needed for the maps. I don't mind a Genji battleground, or a Genji ban on this battleground, just because of that top lane and how important it is. Another hero that we did not highlight, Abathur, can come into play here today.
Haven't seen Abathur yet today.
We have not. Genji banned out. There he goes.
Probably a Tracer ban.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. There she is. Maiev is available. Now, this is a battleground that I don't mind having Maiev on. While she has fallen off a little bit, her ability to control rotations, similar to ETC, is very, very strong. Also, whenever a shrine needs to be grabbed and your opponent tries to dance around and contest it a little bit, Maiev can say, all right, if you attempt to escape, I'm going to pull you back in this area, and I have my team rotating down. And with the travel time being so low on Dragonshire between the middle lane and the bottom lane, Maiev usually can get your team into a spot where you can get that kill. So I actually don't mind if Maiev comes up here. Leftovers thinking about what they want to grab for the first pick.
I would say that we're definitely going to see Hanzo again on this map too.
Yeah.
Just because of the mercenary focus that we've seen from so many of the teams. Sonya and Hanzo are definitely going to make an appearance here, in my opinion. Sonya, of course, for the same reason that we talked before. She's fantastic in fights and can really ruin the team fight of an opponent. First pick here, even on the side of leftovers. But then you have, through Hanzo, also a lot of camp control. One of the heroes that I'm actually wondering if we're going to see is Medivh. Haven't seen a lot of Medivh here today. And so we have seen one ban against Medivh. But Medivh has been really interesting since the rework. Even before. We've seen him more since the rework, but not as much as a lot of players predicted.
Yeah. I'm definitely expecting a little bit more Medivh later on when we see Team Liquid, as we've seen Hasu play a little bit. But there's that Hanzo and that Uther coming in.
Okay, that's the moment when I ask myself, are we going to see a pick or a ban on Tassadar? Because leftovers could definitely play with Tassadar on Sonya again if they wanted to. But Dignitas is also in a position where if they want to follow the same path that we've seen in a few of the previous games, we could see a Hanzo with a double support set up for them. Which makes it's definitely a bit different on this map compared to others.
Sure.
But this double support has... We've seen it in every single one of the games here today. So every time it
was available.
Was a Tassadar composition for the double support. So we could see it again here.
Leftovers. Still thinking about it. Do we want to take the Tassadar? Do we just move into a kill comp? Grabbing a Garrosh here could be nice for them. Do we want to consider maybe that Cassia? Because Cassia does trade pretty well into the solo carry into double support composition. The problem is if you grab it here early, you're in a spot where they can pick up a mage. Instead, they grab their Malfurion. So it looks like we're going to have a solo support, and they move into the Muradin. Muradin, pretty effective for them on 2-minute Spider Queen, and was pretty instrumental in getting their victory. The Stormbolts from Lobber helping set up kills.
I could even have seen them not going for Malfurions early, since Dukov is neither banned nor picked. And for Dignitas, they already have Uther. Not going to pick either of them. So with Malfurion, they have, of course, now not only the Twilight Dream, but they still have to follow up to any Stormbolt that's going to come out here. And we see some great play, especially in the Tomb game from Malfurion, when Linked opened up a lot of kill opportunities for them. And it did a lot with that. So Dignitas, what are they going to ban? I really want to see if one of the teams bans Tassadar.
Yeah. Shouldn't be Dignitas here. They might be thinking about a mage. Or an auto-attacker that they want to get rid of here. Gul'dan could be an okay ban. I've had a little bit. Junkrat could be a great ban. The Leftovers showed that here.
Yeah, Junkrat should definitely make an appearance once again.
Yeah.
I feel Dignitas is going to have a very fun time picking Junkrat for themselves.
Oh, Simi Maiev. Again, we fall into the trap of Maiev still available.
Maiev is weird, though. She's really in a weird spot at this point. Very map-dependent. And at the same time, also a hero that by some teams is prioritized, by other teams completely disregarded.
Yeah.
She has fallen in a very weird spot. Goes through the draft sometimes without even being picked or banned. Then the next time she's all of a sudden the first ban. So really interesting setup with her.
Now this has to be the Tassadar ban, right? From Leftovers?
I could definitely see it, but at this point I'm really just interested to see what they're going to do. Because I'm not quite sure. Tassadar on the one hand is really going to work well with Hanzo, but at the same time, do you really need to play the double support? So far it has 2 wins, 1 loss in this series in particular. But with rotations that you want to set up.
With having Muradin, Malfield's also a good ban, so is Tychus, who has seen some play. Alright.
There goes.
It's going to be the Tassadar.
Alright, there we go. Because he could have targeted the solo lane instead. I'm just saying, okay, what do we want to pick? What is our opponent? Is our opponent going to try and get here?
Now for Dignitas, we're going to transition into the easy Kerrigan and Zarya pickup.
I mean, Dignitas played a lot of Dehaka on this map. They played Dehaka 3 times now. So even with the global falling off, I think that's definitely a good pick for them to just try and out-global their opponent. But then we haven't really seen too much Dehaka play.
Yeah.
And there's very little chance that Leftovers actually go into a global on their own side. So you can make the argument that Dignitas doesn't really need it and can therefore just focus on normal rotations. They still have Junkrat available if they want to have the pick. That's a pretty squishy backline, but they make that work in the past. And yeah, Junkrat has just been fantastic overall for them. I mean, Snitch absolutely loves the hero.
Part of me wants to see the Dehaka in the top lane, but I'm just so worried about that Sonya and her shutting him down. He'll be able to hold it, get some decent essence, and that global is always a great factor, as you mentioned. Here's that Greymane, and we're going to get the Diablo out, so top lane will not be shown yet.
Okay.
I mean, we can go full Hero League, and the way to shut down Sonya has been Rexar lately.
We haven't really seen a whole lot of Greymane either, but with Uther, you can really put him into the spotlight again with the Divine Shield.
Yeah.
So it's actually not too bad. And he's going to chunk down Muradin pretty hard. If he goes for Cursed Bullet, if there's no other target around where Go for the Throat would all of a sudden be the dominant ult for him, then he's going to go Cursed Bullet. And then every time a fight starts, he's just going to chunk it out against Muradin to get him pretty low right away. Muradin went for a heavily sustainable build on in the Tomb game, going for Stoneformer as well, having like all the sustain talents that he could possibly get with the Rewind then on 20. So if you can chunk the damage down the entire time, that would be great for them, just to get the initial start off. And we've seen how oppressive the Diablo was in the first game when he just shut down any attempt on the side of Leftovers to make a play.
Well, Leftovers thinking about their damage finally. Will we get the damage we were asking about earlier? There's a Junkrat and there is a Tychus coming out for Leftovers to deal with that Diablo. Dignitas to the right, gonna be looking for the top lane, looking for a little bit of wave clear. Could have the Blaze, we haven't mentioned him.
Yeah.
Although he has He has a hard time against Sonya.
Yeah.
Sonya, it's always the element of like, can I just do fine here and will I get ganks occasionally?
I mean, also keep in mind, when Diablo was played earlier by Dignitas on Infernal Shrines, he had the support of Tassadar, so there was the extra shield down on him when he was a bit too far out, and the wall, the Tassadar force wall, where he can simply stun a target into. So it's going to be a little bit harder for JPL to make the same kind of plays on this map now. Tyke is, of course, obviously a reactionary pick towards Diablo after he was picked here. But with Junkrat and Tychus, you have really good backline damage. You have Odin as well that you can pop in a big team fight. And you still have Sonya all the way up there at the front. And we have Zeratul. Okay, Wooby's Zeratul play here once again. And yeah, the Red is going to have some trouble.
Forgot about the Zeratul. He played this last week. We even had Leftovers show up there on Zeratul the day after, as Wooby showed how aggressive you can be with the character. The idea is not to go toe-to-toe against the top laner. You're just doing your best to play the mobility and the cleave, clear out the minion waves, and try to be annoying with grabbing that shrine, trying to pull away the top laner and put them in weird positions, and then you come in later on when you finish off your level 10 and start to be able to finish up your Q build to force the fight. So Zeratul gonna be here. Pretty exciting.
Yeah, Zeratul play from Wooby is always pretty awesome, so I'm curious to see how much of an impact he's gonna have for that. But especially Junkrat's gonna hate that setup. He's really, really squishy, and then if you can just stay close to them, Wooby should be able to get a lot of kills in against Blakidney here, or at least put him under so much pressure that he has to move out of these fights constantly.
And even with the knockback mine, if Zeratul's able to get the auto tech off, and then you don't knock back correctly into a turret or a safe area, he can just follow you with the Vorpal Blade and get that kill. So we'll keep an eye out for Wooby, see if he can get the takedowns on that Junkrat, if he'll be annoying enough. In terms of actual setup, though, Leftovers looks pretty good. Good top laner, have control of that middle lane, just a matter of whether or not they get Diablo comboed. Let's head into the 4th battleground here. As Dignitas is ahead 2-1, Leftovers hoping to tie it up and go to a game at number 5.
And Leftovers right now. On the left side here on Dragonshire, with Polyboss on Sonya, linked on Malfurion, Lauber on Muradin, Blakidney on Junkrat, and DAB on Tychus. Pretty solid setup for 5 versus 5 battles. But let's see if Dignitas is going to allow for those.
On the right side in the red, Zelia playing Uther, JPL on Diablo, Poik on Hanzo, Snitch on Greymane, and Wubby playing Zeratul. And the good news, too, also by the composition here for Dignitas, is they can slot in that Greymane in the top lane if they need to, if they want Wubby to be floating around the battleground. And they also have wonderful control when it comes to the camps between Greymane, between Hanzo with that scatter arrow build. Same can be said for Leftovers, though. They have Sonya, and with the help of Junkrat, they can control points pretty well, too. So I'm kind of curious to see who will control the mercenaries well enough here to earn a victory.
Yeah, I feel like Polyboss is going to have a lot of an impact here after his level 4. I mean, this is one of the talents that we talked about ad nauseum. But of course, then when you also look over to Greymane, who has a fantastic impact on that, both of the teams will be trying to apply as much of the mercenary pressure as they can. Very aggressive setup here already against Poik. Really like the reaction of Poik too, making sure that he moves to the top because he was already expecting Team Malfurion roots to come down. And let's just face it, if he moves down, he's dead.
Yeah. Thanks to his ability to jump away, though. That's why Hanzo is one of the strongest assassins you can pick up. Just being able to escape, always hugging a wall and being a little bit careful.
The word you're looking for is annoying.
Annoying. One of the most annoying assassins available. I mean,
we have a few of those by now.
Yeah, that's how you know if you have a good character to play. You get to rate them on how annoying they are. Are they gum under the chair annoying, or are they so annoying that it feels like you're talking to a toddler that doesn't want to listen to you and puts his fingers in his ears whenever you talk? That kind of annoying is the type of assassin that you want to play.
Yeah, exactly. Very good analogy here. Very spot on, actually.
That came out of nowhere. I actually thought the second one was kind of weak, but I was like, whatever, I'm just going with it. I'm going to commit. I'm going to paint this picture for Buddy at home. Speaking of painting a picture, Dignitas might be able to paint this map here with a dragon if they're able to grab it. But Leftovers, after grabbing the Night Camp, were able to move the top lane and take that back.
Yeah, and that was actually a really nice move also from Dignitas, once again trying to get the early Dragonite. It worked out a couple of times for them already, and JPL at this point, this is one of the problems that Diablo is going to have. If you actually are going to see Lauber land a Stormbolt and Link get the roots afterwards, DAB can do a ton of damage to JPL. This is really one of the things that worries me a bit for Diablo at the front line. He always wants to be the aggressor. He wants the guy to initiate. And if he's put into a passive spot, then this setup that we're seeing here at the top, this tri-lane, can do a lot of work against him. So JPL, he doesn't really have too many escape tools. He can use the Shadow Charge on a minion, for example, to jump out. But that's already about it. So definitely one of those things. where he has to be a bit cautious, since Tychus can really be his demise if he doesn't pay attention there. Once that the level 4 talent, the bigger the R is being picked up, there's just very, very little that Diablo can do when he takes the full blunt of that.
Yeah, if you're not able to put any pressure on a Tychus in a one-on-one scenario, because of the bigger they are, as you mentioned, he is able to trade out incredibly effective with that minigun, so you can't really fight him once he starts to pop that minigun. You need to back up or make sure that you have a gank coming your way, and that problem becomes echoed once you get that level 10, because suddenly now he's moving into Odin, he gets area effectability, so after he turns out that trade, usually for the most part, Leftovers should be able to start to take a win if they don't lose any members right away.
Yeah, also with the builds that we are seeing here, just coming back to that Hanzo build, we have him now already with the full focus here on the level 4, making sure that he gets these serrated arrows. So it's all about camp pressure.
Yeah.
Poik again, jumping out, and a lot of good rotations going on here on the map from both teams. Just making sure that nobody is able to get that full control over the 2 shrines and then move into a Dragon Knight. Snitch taking now camp for themselves, but we've seen similar plays from Sonya before that too. I mean, they both go for all the check marks, basically.
And that Q build about to come online here for Wubby. The 2 Q talents you pick up at level 1, Greater Cleave into Rending Cleave. And then at level 7, you grab that Wormhole. That's where you start to get annoying. Being able to go into a fight, you poke in, then pop back to your original destination of where you came from. Also very good for controlling the points, as Wubby is starting to control the top lane with the help of JPL. They're pushing in with a Night Camp, but luckily Junkrat is here to help. Should be able to deal with this pretty quickly.
That was a pretty cool move, though, that we saw him move into a minion, shadow charge that, because he thought he could get close enough to Sonya and get a flip in.
Yeah.
Didn't quite work out, but again, it's like this explosive potential that you have on a Diablo that can really be a game changer.
That's starting to become more of a tactic when you're playing Diablo. The idea behind it is that sometimes when you're playing Diablo, you can push a target a little bit too far and you don't get to throw them aside. So you jump on a minion, and if that gets pushed away, it's fine, but you're right next to the opponent, and you're able to drop them behind you. Snitch, speaking about being dropped, might get taken out here. It's taking some damage. Snick able to cleave forward as JPL comes in for the help, and here's Zelia for a stun. DAB taken out. Poik coming in for the scatter arrow. Get some damage on Lobber, and Dignitas will be able to grab a kill.
Did not see Uther coming there. Tyke is down, and that's the first kill in the game. Dignitas taking that lead, but still at the top lane. Sonya holding onto the shrine, and immediately also starting to chunk Zeratul down a bit, as we have Dignitas now with another camp, siege time camp down to the bot lane, taken. Massive pressure here up to the top with Blickitney now starting to rotate again, and Wubby just gets another grenade to the face.
And that will happen consistently in that top lane. Remember, as a Zeratul, you're not looking to win it. I feel like a lot of people pick their top laners and they think, I have to win this lane. I have to completely dominate my opponent. And they don't think about who's on the opposing side, right? Do they have better wave clear? Do they have more damage than you? Or do they out-sustain you? And so far, all those options are actually in favor of Sonya. Zeratul is there just to soak experience and be better in the team fight. And typically that's what you need to think about when you're picking your top laner. Are you trying to be the bully in the top lane, or are you just trying to be in a spot where you hold on and help when it comes to actually engaging post-10?
Lauber again jumping in here, but the cleanse on Uther is just absolutely invaluable in this situation. So once again, the aggressive engage by Leftovers as they're jumping over the wall, set everything up with a Storm Bolt. The roots come in, but then Uther can shut it down. But these are the moments where Leftovers really just show we want to try and get these picks. We want to try to get the CC chain going and allow for DAB and Blickitney, our 2 damage healers, to drop the targets. And that was just before Dignitas picked the level 10. So now Leftovers have to play passive for another couple of seconds, but they have their own heroic abilities now. And at this point, the only one... Okay, Hanzo picking his own ult now. No real surprises here when we look at the heroic abilities. And we have, again, this Void Prison into Apocalypse setup. I mean, it's pretty old school.
Even Dragon's Arrow and APOC, they have 2 options to open it up.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a pretty nasty wombo combo if you execute it right.
JPL already thinking about going for a fight here on the bottom, but with 4 showing up, they'll play it safe as Zeratul takes back the top side. Greymane in position here to maybe find a poke if Diablo is able to get an engage, but he's mostly there just to clear out the wave, and the dance continues, the Dragonshire dance that we watch week in and week out. This dance might come to a close, though, as Uther gets locked down. Zelia trying to stay alive here, peeling away, not freaking out and using the Divine Shield there. Great play from him as a Lobber starts to take the brunt of the damage.
And that was actually really well done. That's a lot of resources that were used by Leftovers here to get the kill. But they actually get a fair amount of ults being dropped on the side of Dignitas as well, as they're attempting to save their targets. Problem is that Podibos in the top lane now finds himself in a really awkward position, going up against Snitch and Zeratul. There is no way he survives that. Second kill coming in for Dig. Great job by them, saving the bot lane. And yeah, Dignitas starting to edge out a bit of an advantage here. 2 kills against 0 and half a level ahead, claiming their level 12.
Poor Potty Boss. He's getting bullied today, man. That Sonya is unable to get what he would like to happen, which is being able to force fights and get those roll-ins out. Team Dignitas shutting him down as much as they can. Uther once again goes the same trick of sitting in the bush and getting stunned so he can bait the team into a fight. But that doesn't work out this time, as leftovers are able to take Uther out.
Yeah, so he's not quite invulnerable here. They finally get the kill, are able to take him down, and that's at least something. First kill now, 4 leftovers here. And maybe they can also get a couple of camps here in the meantime. Immediately after the kill, they're starting to focus on the Siege Giant camp. We could see someone rotate to the top since Greymane and Zeratul are again going to push there. And especially with the camp that they just took, it's going to be a really strong push for Dignitas. If they go in with that camp and they have Greymane still there, it could hurt. But Greymane is now starting to rotate into the mid lane instead. Junkrat already making his own way over to the top lane to assist Sonya and depush the situation.
Don't forget though, level 13 hitting for Diablo here, getting that Shadow Charge quest set up for them as they move towards that 13 and 16. Some of the best power spikes for that Diablo when he's able to finish it off. Wubby heads to the top here and sees there's a Junkrat trying to control the area, but with Diablo lurking in the shadows, Wubby's have to be a little bit careful. Here comes that VP into the APOC combo, and they land it perfectly.
That was actually crazy because it also was a setup that allowed JPL to get the stun against the wall just perfectly. So it was not only that the Apocalypse hit, at the same time it positioned the target so that Diablo could get full value out of his own Shadow Charge. So great play here, getting the kill against Junkrat. Zeratul nearly falling on the back end of that fight, but able to move out, and they are going to try and take that again. Podibos actually forcing Wubby to cancel a Hearthstone and move back for now, because Podibos was looking for that spear, trying to take it in. 13 talents on both sides now. Dignitas is still with a level lead, 13 versus 14 in their favor. And this game has still not seen a Dragon Knight, so both of the teams doing very well, just keeping the Shrine controller taken away from their opponent before they hold 2.
Dignitas gets that push happening here on the south side. Leftovers will come in to defend it, but also take the Shrine back. No one in the middle lane here being able to grab the dragon, but Diablo, here he comes, charging across the map, goes straight for Lauber, tries to get the engage on him. Will get him locked in the corner, but the jump is still available. Lauber doing his best to hold. Here comes the Riptire. Diablo falls, but so does Muradin.
Yeah, Muradin goes down, but he survived for a long time thanks to the healing static that he has on 13. So that really helped him out here. Sonya has reclaimed the top shrine, and with them getting the counter kill against Diablo, that was kind of worth it. I mean, yes, you drop only the souls and he's back in action, but at the same time, the 100 stacks make him such an oppressive hero to play against. Really difficult to take down. So getting at least the counter kill was already a pretty good move.
Yeah, should be easier to shut him down with a Sonya stun into a Malfurion route, and even Muradin coming in there to add that extra damage, so Diablo has to be a little bit more careful here. Diablo heading to the top side again to help out Zeratul, looking at that Sonya. Now, he does have the 2 of the 5 stacks he needs to finish out this quest, but 16 is about to hit, and that's where we'll have both Uther and Diablo hit their talents that are very important for them. The Benediction at 16 for that Uther, and of course Diablo getting that ability to grab a second charge of Shadow Charge.
Oh, Stormbolt misses. Snitch should be able to move out of this one. But I'm a little bit worried for team fights. Once we have the 5 versus 5s on the map starting to become more dominant, I think the setup that Dignitas has with Zeratul's Void Prison into an Apocalypse or even the Hanzo Arrow is going to be really tough for leftovers to deal with. I mean, it's all about Malfurion at that point. Can he use his level 7 talent to shut that out, to make sure that Nature's Cure is going to be used to remove the stuns?
Well, Leftovers do have a few tools available to help out with it. The Neo Steel at level 13 for that Tychus, Ice Block for the Malfurion. So they might be able to handle it, but I agree with you. It's going to be a difficult task for them to be able to stop the onslaught that Dignitas can bring their way. But Leftovers, if they're able to get around it, maybe get a Riptire in to screw up the combo, that's where they can start to have success in the team fight.
Yeah, especially the pressure against Junkrat is something I want to see a bit more when the big team fights happen, because he's going to be the squishiest target. Here comes the arrow right into the choke point, into Apocalypse. Icebook has been used on Link, but it's just not enough. He goes down, Riptire comes in, but Blake Kidney is so low, he has to move out of this one, and DAB doesn't even bother popping Odin at this point. He already knows that this fight is over. Sonya is still up at the top. And that's Team Dignitas with a level 16 talent advantage, getting another kill, this time against Malfurion.
What I like is they got that kill, realized that Junkrat was trying to toy with them a little bit while Sonya was getting the top lane, and they immediately pulled away, realizing, all right, we got 1 kill. Let's grab these shrines to see if we can get a dragon here, because that's more important than trying to chase down this Junkrat or even the Muradin. So good heads up play there by Dignitas and being aware of what's happening on the map.
Dignitas is, I mean, consistently throughout the game, Dignitas has held on to that level 1, to that 1 level advantage. The thing is, once they grab a Dragonite, I feel this is just going to be accelerated so quickly. So leftovers have to be really wary about that. And again, Podeboss is already being attacked here. Lauba and Sonya are trying their best to make sure that there is no Dragonite being captured, but Podeboss is insanely low. He's able to tap, but this situation is not really looking good for leftovers right now. They are playing a very defensive position here. Lauba is trying to put Wubi under a bit of pressure at least, but if that fight, if they don't win this one, then Dignitas is going to walk away with the Dragonite.
Well, he's able to pull away. Didn't even burn that Void Prison. Sitting in a trap and was able to dodge out in a Stormbolt. Nice jukes by him. Dignitas pulls up and grabs the Night Camp. Typically, if you see a situation like the Odin being popped, as you were mentioning, Caldor, and you want to pull away from the fight, try and see if you can go somewhere else on the map. It's going to take a while for Odin to rotate over, so getting that Night Camp from Dignitas was the call, and a good example of what you can do when you do escape from those fights. Bottom Shrine getting grabbed here, and Dignitas continues to control.
And they just waited Odin out, and of course went back through the wall to tap at the well. That's exactly what they did here. Nice attempt to go for Uther here again, and they actually get the kill. Really smart move. Once again, leftovers with a fast rotation, a lot of aggression. They pick up the 3rd kill in the game, and now they are the ones holding both of the shrines. Not for long, though, since the top lane has been aggressively taken by 3 heroes on the side of Team Dignitas. Snitch is starting to push the waves out as they've now used that camp that they just claimed to put more pressure onto their top. Should probably see someone else starting to rotate over. I don't think that Sonya is going to be in a great spot to hold this, but actually Dignitas is making a rotation happen on their own. They're not moving in to push the top lane out.
14 minutes and 0 dragons between leftovers and Team Dignitas.
We're actually closing in on 20.
That's pretty ridiculous. I don't think we've seen this in a while. Usually a dragon gets stuck at some point. Leftovers continuing to hang in there. Very similar to what we saw in Tomb of Spider Queen, but this time Dignitas is in the lead.
Yeah, and okay, we had Junkrat actually move to the top lane to deal with that. So Dignitas had actually an opportunity to try and push with the top camp to see if they can get the fort itself. They decided to move back down instead so they can claim another night camp and also grab the shrine down here. But now we're having level 19 versus level 18, so Dig still holding on to that 1 level advantage. But, I mean, this has just been rotations the entire game. That was, so far, it's really awesome to see how much these two teams are rotating here, how much of these pickup kills we have. And we didn't really have a lot of 5 versus 5 fights. We had this one in the middle, and that never really exploded. The teams never heavily engaged into it. Once that Odin was popped, Dignitas just said, okay, we're going to move away from this. So we're still talking about rotation play more so than any team fights.
We might actually have that fight soon, though. With Sonya head in the top lane to grab the shrine, Zeratul is in a position to rotate down and possibly force a Void Prison into an engage. Diablo can go in at any point, and it looks like we might actually have that fight. Snitch goes in and puts some damage on Link. Zeratul, again, still sharking around the middle in case something breaks out, but leftovers, they just back out. They are being safe here. With Zeratul missing, they know they have to be careful.
Yeah, be careful here now, because we all remember what happened the last time. If you are in that corridor, then it's just super easy for Hanzo to land that Dragon Arrow. And once that happens, you are in trouble. The Apocalypse follow-up is going to be there, and Dignitas is also about to claim level 20. So they have their Storm Talent advantage now, and this is really the moment where it becomes rough for leftovers. This is a fight they don't want to take, but giving up a Dragonite this late in the game is definitely going to cost them some infrastructure.
It looks like they're just going to give it up, though. Easy here. Sonya's in the middle. Both grab. Yeah. Snitch jumps in the dragon, and Dignitas will get the first dragon of the game. Thanks to their control and keeping up an experience, and their 5 kills to 3. They have a full level lead on their opponent, and they look to open up the keep wall.
And also Diablo now again with 100 souls. Just completed that. So has the Resurrect available for himself. This is going to be rough. This is definitely going to hurt. Dignitas is going to try and at least take the keep here.
Because with the side wall open?
Yeah, for them, they really want to make sure that with the level 20 advantage, they're going to get something out of it. Leftovers pulling even with 20 versus 20. With all keeps on both sides still available, that would definitely be a bit of a disappointing result for Dignitas. And they are aggressively moving in, and that's just no way to save their keep at this point. And leftovers, they can poke, but they don't really want to engage too much into this because they are still worried about losing 1 or 2 heroes here, and all of a sudden, instead of keep, we're talking about game.
They can't even afford to send someone up to soak the top lane or the middle lane. They have to just sit here and fight at 19.5 to 20. They pop their Odin to dissuade the dragon from pushing into their core. Hopefully now they can peel somebody off and soak that experience while they wait out the Odin duration. Meanwhile, Dignitas, realizing the Odin's up, similar to what we saw last time, they backed up, put some damage on the middle fort instead.
Yeah, we have also 22 stacks, by the way, in Muradin's quest. The Stormbolt, so he's trying to stack it a bit against the Dragonite now. Here comes the Void Prison, though. We see the follow-up. Nothing yet. and nothing happening on that front. Snitch is immediately moving out, got slowed by the fort though, and that's a situation where Leftovers are trying to take advantage of it. Here comes the Apocalypse. Boss on the run. They still don't have 20. They're willing to actually fight here, but they could also just attempt to disengage. Boss on the other hand is really low, gets flipped over again. He's down, and that's now another problem for Leftovers. Without 20, still fighting here, losing another hero, and now they're being chased. Dignitas is starting to try and see if they can maybe get another one. And DAB got nearly blown apart here by Poik and Hanzo.
Hanzo almost taking him out there. They're going to open up this wall and start to poke again. There's something that you can do with Hanzo at home. Oh my gosh, Zeratul with the takedown.
Yeah, this is spiraling out of control for Leftovers now.
This might be a game, actually.
Yeah, it could be. Second keep already would be a huge blow towards them. And this is what Dignitas is currently looking for. They're not going for the core directly. They're actually starting to poke away at the keep. But Wooby going for that kill. After we saw Poik just nearly blowing up Tychus, they realized that he would be insanely low in the back, and then Wooby sneaks in and gets the kill. He can immediately go out with Wormhole again. No risk for him, and that means second keep. And all of that started with Leftovers getting a bit too aggressive, thinking they can maybe get a kill, maybe get a pick here, moving out, trying to go for Greymane, who got slowed down by the fort. So they thought, okay, maybe we can get onto him. And then we saw Boss getting isolated. Now they still have targets down, and this is just staggered deaths at this point. And I mean, it couldn't be worse for Leftovers.
JPL can even help force a kill here if he wants to. A full minute until Junkrat is back on the field, and Dignitas will go for the easy play. Setting up for Giants pushing in, can even work on grabbing this Night Camp Stew, and then grab the Dragon and push in any lane they want. Get these catapults to help out too. Dignitas in a great position to end the game. Can Leftovers hold it all?
At this point, it's really rough. With one keep down, I would have given them more of a chance than what we're seeing at this point. The staggered deaths are already a big problem. They have that 20 now. But I mean, what would Leftovers have to do to win this game? They would have to engage into a 5 versus 5 and really just dominate it. Make sure that they get a couple of kills. And even after that, if you look at the minimap, all 3 forts for Dignitas are still in play. So even if you grab a Dragonite here and you win a fight, chances are you're not going to have enough time to actually core. You might get a key, but that could be about it. And that fight is already not looking good for them. But JPL actually gets a bit isolated there. Linked is low, but Diablo nearly dead. The Divine Shield comes through though, but Malfurion gets picked off by Greymane. Now Boss is falling, JPL is still alive, and this is just a disaster from Leftovers' perspective. Dignitas is going in, and they're taking no prisoners here. Taking down Malfurion, Tychus, Sonya, and Muradin also fall. And that's 4 heroes down already. The core is falling at the same time as Catapults and Siege Giants already locked in on it. And that's Dignitas taking game number 4 and securing a 3-1 lead against Leftovers.
Yep, after post 20, Dignitas finally explodes and kills, goes up to 12-3. But I gotta highlight towards the end there, the trust from JPL. Going in for the fight, a little bit late on his combo, chunked down to half health, finally gets that APOC out. Malfurion uses the Ice Block, silences him afterwards, and then we have JPL being chased into the middle lane. But him not using his bolt early, waiting for the Divine Shield at the last second, trusting Xillia to be there, being able to bait a little bit more there out of Leftovers, allowing for his team to continue poking, and then at the last second bolting away allowed for them to win that entire team fight. Dignitas looking great in terms of teamwork, but of course individual skill showing off there too.
And I don't think that Leftovers are going to be too unhappy with the result either. They went into the series, said we don't expect too much here.
Yeah.
We know how strong Dignitas is. They said they thought that Dignitas is actually probably the best team in the world right now. They feel, if so, only a Korean team can actually even challenge them. So taking a map here and increasing their own score, their own map score, is already a win for them.
One win there for Leftovers. Gotta be happy about that. This team continues to improve, but they still are stuck down there at the 8th number seed. So we'll see next couple weeks if they're able to start getting the wins, the big ones they have to. Their big targets, obviously, Diamond Skid, Tricked Esports, and Team Liquid. Those are the 3 teams they have to worry about in terms of placement. If they can get past them, then of course they can avoid that Crucible. But for now, a big loss as Dignitas gets another win and continues to step towards that MSB, which is their next big goal, obviously, as we'll be seeding 3 teams to the midseason brawl. Dignitas looking like a shoe-in for sure. It's just a matter of who will be our 2nd and 3rd team. I think Zealots right now are looking like they're going to be a case for our 2nd seed, and then of course the playoffs for that 3rd.
Yeah, let's not forget about Fnatic. Fnatic only looking a bit wonky in the games against Dignitas, but even in those, the results didn't really reflect the amount of skill and amount of pressure that we've seen from them. And also in scrims, Fnatic is actually looking really good, so there's a lot that we can expect if they can translate it into the actual league play. And for leftovers, I really feel what's important now is how the next series ends. Because if you know if Liquid or Trick loses, that's going to be the team that you're going to try and focus your attention to. Since this is someone that you can maybe push behind you to push them into a crucible spot, whereas you just overcome them.
Yeah, Trick and Team Liquid's going to be a fun one. That'll be our next series. Just trying to figure out also where is Trick Esports, because again, we always have had this issue for a full year now, year and a half. It feels like where is Trick Esports, because they're so inconsistently consistent, if that makes any sense. So we'll see if they'll be able to pull a big victory over Team Liquid, who. Same can be said about them, kind of, actually. The Team Liquid curse always being in full effect, but last week they looked pretty darn strong. So we'll have to see if that's going to be a fun one for them. For now, we're trying to get set up with an interview. I'm hoping we get some more snitch comments here. Ooh, it actually sounds like we get the rare interview.
Oh?
With, who do you think it's going to be?
Zelia.
It's going to be with Zelia, man. We'll see if he got his Mountain Dew today, if he was able to talk to the old lady. Zelia is always a treat to listen to.
Yeah, I really want to know if we have some more old lady stories. I mean, like that rambling last time was absolutely priceless. Best interview ever.
I think Zelia is by far, if we were to have a vote, the best rambler when it comes to HGC. I mean, Alex maybe is a good rambler too, but Zelia is up there.
He's just a hair troll.
He's just a hair troll.
The hair troll dolls, the ones that you had as a kid, that's perfectly him. That encapsulates not only the way that he looks, it's at the same time also his complete personality. It's perfect. It's a perfect match.
If his nose is a little more rounded out, I would actually believe that he was a full-grown troll that was just born from the doll market. Like, I could actually believe in that.
I mean, he's just insanely goofy. An absolute lovable guy. I mean, at events in particular. I mean, yeah. We tweeted out a couple of pictures from the Western Clash, and it's just... This guy, you can't really describe him. It's just like you see a picture and like, oh, okay, I get it.
We love Zelia, man. We love all of Dignitas, and we love all of our teams here at the HGC. Now we're continuing to get ready for him and make sure that he is ready to go. And it sounds like he's ready. Zelia, welcome to the HGC. Dignitas gets another win. And because I just love listening to you talk, I'm going to say, how do you feel about it? And you can go for as long as you want. Go ahead.
He actually had his I broke the trophy face a second ago. Did you break something?
Great start, Calder. No, I actually didn't.
You broke leftovers.
Yes. We lost one map. That was not,
Why'd you lose that map, Zelia? Was
what
it your
we
fault?
hoped for. Tess Hanzo is pretty good, actually. It's kind of annoying when you play against double vision. You cannot really make plays, So.
Let's actually talk about that.
Yeah.
A little bit. Tassadar was pretty important in today's drafts. Is this a trend that we're going to see throughout the entire weekend? Is Tassadar back?
Kind of, because there's been a lot of garage, right? We don't have any more games this weekend, and we're going to play a new patch. So I guess I can talk a bit about like the meta and stuff. Garage is coming in. Tess, that means Tess is back. That means double support is maybe back when you play a lot of backline. So you don't even have to deal with the garage. You just sit there and you shoot them. Yeah, that's probably how the meta looks. Why are you giggling, Calder?
we just love the words that you use and the facial expressions. I'm gonna send you over to Calder so you can talk to him.
I just love the gestures. You shoot him and then the pew pew. I really like that, but yeah. I have no real reason to giggle. I just thought you guys played absolutely fantastic today. You seem to have a lot of fun on the hero pool too. And let's just talk a bit about the support role maybe. What are your personal thoughts on Stukov at this point? Because, of course, the playstyle is really different if you compare it to a lot of the other support heroes that dominated the meta for so long. What are your personal thoughts on him?
I mean, Stukov is fun when you actually have space, to land the big roots and the combo on that. But it is sometimes very awkward to play on Tomb today, for example. Like, as I said, they have the double vision. They always know where I am. I cannot do any funky plays, so I'm just kind of sitting there, waiting for Chromie to do something. So Stukov, super good in the right situation. But if the situation is not there, he's kind of bad. He's kind of a liability. You can easily lose the game because you don't really have a real save. Yeah, so he's really good, but also really bad, maybe, sometimes.
Okay, fair enough. Quick question about our rankings right now. It feels like Europe is currently all over the place. I mean, we've seen Team Liquid, for example, do pretty well against you guys, but if they lose the upcoming series, then all of a sudden, instead of having to think about the playoff positioning, they need to first of all think about not ending up in the Crucible, with especially leftovers now stepping it up. Is there anything when we look at the when you look at the rankings in Europe where you say, okay, these are the clear favorites to go to the mid-season brawl, or do you feel like it's just so close that anything can happen at this point?
It's kind of hard to tell, you know. Zealot's still doing strong. It's kind of strange because at the Western Clash, we were playing against, you know, Zealots in the finals, and they were doing surprisingly well compared to what everybody was, you know, expecting. And then they come out, and now the meta they played at Western Clash is the meta we play right now. So I expect them, you know, to kind of be in the top, you know, 3 again, just because the heroes that they play, they're really good at, like they're meta, right? So, I mean, I guess Dignitas is probably gonna go. That's what we're aiming for, and maybe Zealots.
I think there's a good chance of that happening.
But I have no idea about Method and Fnatic and Liquid.
What do you think about
I have no idea.
Leftovers and how they play right now? So they had a pretty good weekend last time. They now just took a map of you guys. Do you think they have what it takes to move out of a Crucible spot, or do you feel this is still the most likely outcome that they will have to battle against one of the open division teams at the end?
You know, we didn't let them have Tracer this time, and they won every game with Tracer last time against Method. And they looked a little weaker, I guess. So if you pick apart, you know, you take away their good parts, they might end up in the Crucible. But when they're good, they're actually really good. I was super surprised with how well they played. They punished me so well in Tomb today. It was impossible to play Stukov. You get arrowed from downtown, and it just lands every time. I mean, Leftovers are showing up, actually.
All right. Thank you very much.
Well, you mentioned it. Next week we get a new patch as you'll be facing off against Diamond Skin. What will Dignitas be doing, and what are you kind of looking forward to when it comes to the new patch?
We'll obviously look at, you know, how good Tracer is. We're very heavy on the Tracer. It's going to be interesting if it's going to be gone or it's going to be in. I'm going to be honest, you know, this meta with Garage, with Eve and everything, we're kind of lost. And I think a lot of teams are. So I'm looking forward to a new big patch and then we can, you know, find our own staple and try to work from there.
Do me a favor and test out Twin Blades Varian, because Varian is definitely changing, and I think it's going to be fantastic for Dignitas to try it out. All right, Zelia,
got you.
That's it, man. I look forward to your Twin Blades next week, but until then, let's go ahead and do shoutouts, man. It's all you.
It's not possible to beat the original, so we're just going to go with the standard. Thank you to my team. You're all amazing. I love playing with you guys. A giga shout out to all of you wonderful people out there watching, supporting, cheering on us, or booing us out.
If you blow him a
at
kiss,
the Western
I'll like
Clash. That ain't happening. Actually, we don't have an old lady this time, but I do want to shout out to one special old man. Mef, our manager, you're doing a great job. I enjoy working with you. Do we have time for a story?
Oh, yeah, we got time. We got time. Go ahead.
Actually, okay. I'll do part 1 of the story.
Okay.
So Mef, before our games, we've, you know, Mef, he has a very nice car as well. Also, but he got the new Dignitas jet. We call it the Digni jet. And every weekend before we play our stressful games, Mef takes us, flies us around, gathers us, you know, up in his Digni jet. And okay, to be continued. That was part 1.
Zelia and crew get a big victory today over Leftovers, and apparently they have a jet. Esports money, man.
I don't know. When he said like it's a car and they call it Dignijet, I just think about Mep sitting in the Beetle and like racing down the highway. I don't know.
Oh, okay. A jet as in like a Jetta. Is that what I'm understanding? I thought like an actual jet. Like they had a plane they were flying.
No, it's a car, but they call it a jet for some reason.
Oh. Today I learned something. All right, guys, that's it here for HGC, the first series. We're going to the second series, which will be next. Trick Esports taking on Team Liquid. Dignitas has a car, not a jet. Smart. That's good planning right there. You keep yourself alive. It's clever.
Oh!